Hey guys, it's Joel Runyon. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be reviewing the Polar Monkeys Portal 2.0 Cold Plunge. You can see right here, it has the most unique design of pretty much any cold plunge on the market, but it is their entry-level model, so we are going to review it, we're going to test it out, and I'll tell you what I think. Let's go. All right, so there's two main components to the Polar Monkeys setup. You have the tub, which is a standard metal tub. It's not anything particularly complex, but it does have like the cool design, and they have several different types of designs. I like this like space monkey portal looking design. It's pretty cool. All right, so the second part is the chiller. This is either going to be a 0.6 if you get the normal base level unit, but this one is a 0.8 horsepower chiller, which is going to be about perfect for this guy. There are chillers on the market that go up to 1 horsepower, a little bit higher, but for about this size of a cold plunge, it's going to be exactly perfect. And this thing weighs 70 pounds. So when it shows up at your house, this looks heavy, is not that heavy. This does not look that bad, but is very heavy. So just so you know what it's going to show up and look like. So we are going to unbox this guy. We are going to set up the cold plunge, and then we're going to go take a dip and see what all the hype is about. Let's do it. All right, so let's unbox this and not be too awkward about it. Spoiler alert, it's going to be awkward. All right, so we're getting this set up, and then Kat just says to me,
do you want me to just do it for you?
She's like, apparently she's better at this than I am. You might be. Yeah, you do. You need to wear, this is not well represented, but we can step it up. I was going to show you how to set this up, but apparently Kat is going to show everybody how this is set up. So she's a pro. So fun story about this chiller is we actually had a different chiller that got beat up in a hailstorm. And I don't know if they just rolled out a new version of this, but this thing is not getting beat up in a hailstorm. That looks like it's gonna survive the apocalypse. So that is a plus. Ooh. All right, so one thing to note, you have the inlet and the outlet, and you have the pre-filter connected to the inlet. So you wanna make sure you do that. Then you're gonna run the hoses over to the tub. So we set that up in like 15 minutes or so. That was actually pretty quick. I was pretty happy with how fast we got that set up. We are starting to fill it up with water. We're gonna turn the chiller on and get this thing going. So last time, I think the ice barrel took us like 45 minutes to fill up. I think we fixed the water pressure issue. Should be much faster. All right, so the things that I like about the Polar Monkeys cold plunge unit. First of all, it is probably the best cold plunge at the price point. It comes in right around that like $3,200 mark. You can upgrade with a bunch of different accessories, but it's pretty much the only cold plunge I've seen worth getting at that price point. Most of the cold plunges that come out on the market are closer to that 5 to 7K range. Those are a little bit bigger, some of them a little fancier, some of them are a little bit more put together from a material standpoint, but just from a efficiency standpoint, this is actually a pretty good product for the price point. I'm in Austin, Texas, and it's not unusual to see a lot of people do basically like normal horse trough bins. This is essentially like an aluminum bin. They painted and they made it look cool, and they outfitted it with their own versions of it. And I think they do a great job of it. It's not unusual though to see around town people just taking one of these, filling it with water, and putting a ton of ice in it. That has the same problems in Austin as anything that is not automatically cooling down. You need hundreds and hundreds of pounds of ice, and it's gonna melt immediately. So it's really nice to have something like this that looks cool, is relatively cheap, and automatically cools and lets you clean it pretty easily without having to just kind of cycle through hundreds and hundreds of pounds of ice. You blow that up really quickly. Anytime someone's trying to save money just by doing like ice baths, especially in a warm weather climate like Texas, it's probably not worth it. You're going to spend just as much money on ice as you would on something like this. Okay, so a 20-pound bag at Walmart is $4, $3.88. Let's say you need 200 pounds of ice. Because I've tried to do it with 100, and 100 melts quick. You need 200 pounds of ice, so that's 10 bags. That's like $40, right? So if you're gonna take one ice bath a year, probably just do your own ice bath. But if you're actually, gonna ice bath once or twice a week, this is gonna pay for itself in a year, and it's probably the most affordable option out there. Now, there are other cold plunges in this range. Personally, I don't like them. I get pitched them all the time, and they all, one, literally look the same. I think they look bad. Two, they have subpar chiller units, and they all have different brandings on them, but they're the exact same units sourced from the exact same people in China, and they're just trying to undercut people on price without adding a lot of value or interesting features at all. If you're looking at anything lower than a price point like this, you probably want to check out the Ice Barrel, or probably just roll your own DIY cold plunge solution. I think Polar Monkeys in general has some of the coolest looking plunges on the market. This one, the Portal 2.0, is, like I said, a basic design, but they do a really good job customizing them, making them look really cool. They also have a mid-level brain pod, which is similar in price point and functions to the Plunge, but in some ways, I think it looks cooler than the Plunge. So that would be more of a personal choice on which style you want to go with. Then they have a high-end one called the Star Treatment, and that thing is very expensive, but it is also very cool. So one of the things that I do appreciate about them over other companies and other cold plunges on the market is that they actually put effort and time into making their designs unique, and they might fit your space better than something like the Plunge, which looks great, but in some scenarios, it might not look the best in your backyard. Or maybe if you just don't want to have the same cold plunge that everybody else has, the options at Polar Monkeys can be a cool way to switch things up. And like I said in the setup video, they've actually been upgrading their equipment over the last few months. So we had one of the chiller units actually get taken out by a hailstorm. So it sort of works still, but the screen was all messed up. They sent us a new one, and this thing looks like a tank. Like, I don't think a hailstorm is going to take this guy out. So it's kind of cool to see them evolving that over time. All right, so that's what I think. I think we're getting close on this thing filling up. So let's go check it out and see where we're at. All right, so we just filled this up just enough. So this is now circulating. This guy's working. This chiller unit is so much better than the last one. Like, it's easier to see. Like, the screen looks better. It's quieter. This might be the quietest chiller I've seen so far. The other chillers, even the Plunges, is much louder than this. All right, so this guy's going, and you can see it's functioning. Look at that. It's pretty cool. All right, so we are all paired up with the phone. The app is, you should screen record on the app. So this chiller unit specifically, I think, is a huge upgrade from the one that we had previously. Not only does it look like a tank, but the way it connects, and then the connected app. I'm going to show you the app one more time. I'll do a walkthrough on that, but...
And also do different, ad schedules, so it's not running all the time.
Okay. That's pretty dope. We'll do a walkthrough on the app and throw it up side by side, but this thing is a much, much better setup than what it used to be. One of the other things about this unit is some cold plunges are all kind of all in one, and some of them are a little bit more separated out. So this is a little bit more separated out, which visually can sometimes be a little cluttered. So you want to make sure that you take care of all the cords and the hoses and everything. But this is actually easier in some ways to set up than when stuff is all put together, because you're not constrained on space like you are when everything's just put together in one thing. So you're able to set it up over here, connect the hoses, and then you can kind of put them together and hide them as you want, versus I've seen on several different ones where it's all in one, but then you're moving around, you're trying to get angles in, you're trying to connect hoses that don't really bend like that, and it can be kind of difficult and frustrating. So this is actually really, really easy to set up. So that is, I would say, a major plus on getting this to your house and getting this set up in 15 minutes, which is great. All right, so we are actually a couple days later. We get this time to cool down. Problem was, the rest of Austin also decided to cool down. So now it's 20, 30 degrees colder outside than it was a couple days ago. This is sitting in the 40s. The only things that we haven't covered on the cold plunge so far is mostly the cover. So what you see on this one is basically, it's got a nice insulated cover, and it's got like the skirt that comes around the outside. I think that's nice. It's not the nicest cover I've seen out in the space, but it definitely keeps things cold. Not gonna let a lot of heat escape, and you can still see the Polar Monkeys design on the back. I'm gonna jump in this thing. I'm really wishing I would have done this 2 or 3 days ago, but it's not supposed to be comfortable, right? Like, that's the whole point, so let's do it. All right, one dunk challenge. Everybody knows the rules. So it feels deeper than maybe the other plunges I've been on. Like your arm ledge here is a little higher than it would be on some of the other ones I've been in, but it is longer. So like I'm 6'2", 6'3". I can sit in this pretty easily. My nipples are below the water, which is great, and my feet are extended fully, and I'm not even cold. I'm not cold. And you can actually fit in this long way. So if you guys are tall and you're looking for a budget option, this is actually pretty solid. I really like this. It looks pretty cool. I like the monkey guy. I think they do different designs. This thing definitely gets cold. So I think this is a really, really good option in that range. It's nice that you can just set it to get however cold you want at that $3,000 price point, and it's still gonna work. I wouldn't say this is like the most comfortable like seating arrangement, but this whole thing's not really based around comfort. So if that's like your main buying criteria, you probably want to look at other products. Find a jacuzzi. Sounds much worse. But I actually like the fact that I can fit it here pretty easily. You can dunk yourself all the way down. Let me keep my hands out because that's tough. I'm pretty happy with this. I like this. I like the fact that you don't have to get a different size one if you're taller or smaller. Some of the other plunges on the market are based on your height or size, and so this is just, comes in a trough, but it can clearly fit you. And if you're way taller than 6'3", you might be out of luck, but I think most of us are not. So I feel okay. I don't feel great. Nice, relaxing, cold plunge. That's the Portal 2.0 from Polar Monkeys. I think it's a great budget level option. I like that they upgraded the chiller. The design looks really great, and it fits you if you're over 6 foot, 6'2". That's really nice to have in just the base model. If you want a higher end option, there definitely are higher end options out there. There are ones that are a little bit more comfortable or a little bit more ergonomic if you really care about that. Or if you don't want the trough style metal look, there's other options out there. But I think if you're trying to get into the cold plunge space at like anything, in the 3K range, I think this is one of the better options out there. The chiller does its work. It's gonna be cold. That looks great pretty much anywhere you put it, and you're good to go. So guys, that's the review. If you guys like the video, hit like, subscribe. Let me know what you guys want to see me review in the future videos. Until next time, push your limits, do something impossible, and I'll see you on the next video. Boom.